Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today we have Figure Friday. This is the last one that we're going to do exclusively for just the Star Wars. But we have Wrecker here to end up just for the month of May, being kind of a Star Wars theme for May the 4th. Um, so we'll have a little bit different theme next month. So you'll get the idea when you see the next figure, and we'll go from that point. But looking at Wrecker here, this is one of the last ones that they had done. I believe I had gotten this off of Amazon because I missed getting them over at my local Walmart when he was there. I think they only had like two of them, and he was gone like the next day, and I was like, oh, I should have picked them up, but I didn't. So that's on me. So kind of the reading on the back here, as long as I'm not trying to read all the different languages, which I cannot understand. All right, the boisterous bruiser of the Bad Batch record has brute strength that makes him capable of lifting clone, a clone gunship without any help. His muscle and size are matched only by his temper and equally pronounced series of humor. He is just that big lot of muscle, and he's kind of a childish individual in a lot of ways, and he's got a huge heart. Um, he really bonds with Omega, um, where Hunter is like the more or less parent guardian of the whole group. Wrecker here, he is just that lovable, almost like a big kid. He'll do whatever you need him to do, and he'll do it pretty well. It's just that, like I said, he has that mentality, kind of like a big kid. So, very lovable character, kind of nice to have around. And yes, his complete brute strength of things is always kind of shown. I don't remember seeing him actually lift a ship up, but pretty close to it in a way. Okay, so looking in here, take all this off. So we do have him. Nice big solid figure. I don't remember him having this big knife here though. I do remember him having the gun. Of course, their helmet, and then they all had the backpack. Now, I am going to say this. I know that they were always carrying the backpacks, but honestly, I can't remember them ever really taking the backpacks off to really look inside to say, hey, yes, I have, this or that or whatever that we really need. So I think it was always there that they could, but it just didn't really get shown as I crunch all that out of there in the show. So um, very nice looking figure. All right, well, let's see what we all have. I'm sure that we're going to have the same joints. I don't know if he's going to have the movement here. He does have a little movement. He does. All right. Normally, when we have our knee guards, they're actually attached to the bottom, and it looks like it's attached here on the top. So we'll have to take a look. Almost looks like he's got the double knee design. So let's see what we have here. Okay, so we can go side to side. So that way, if he's stretched out here or whatever, I mean, you can kind of pose him, which is really nice. Of course, forward and backward. You know, with his armor here on his calf, the foot doesn't go back as far as it does on some of the figures, but it does go, you know, kind of good. All right, and like I said, now we can twist right here underneath. Actually, it is just above the knee that we're twisting. So you see the knee joint, it's actually right above the knee joint, so we can twist that back. And nope, it's only a single knee. That is a big knee joint there, though. So as I move this, I can see that that's only going to go that far, and then that's it. It's not going to go back farther. Um, and I'm going to say this. This is something I had found out um, for those of us older people. He's got another articulation right here. If you ever watch Arnold Schwarzenegger doing Conan the Barbarian, They told him he had to lose some of the muscle in his arms because he was so big he just could not swing the sword how he needed to in the movie. So he had to kind of trim himself down from some of the extra muscle. So, to look at it he is a big guy here and he doesn't get that extra joint of articulation that would make some sense being a big guy. That's something I never thought about with being a really big muscular person, that they would lose some of the flexibility. Just, to me, it's never something I ever thought about. Never had to. Obviously, I'm not that big, and well, okay, I got a big stomach, but either way. All right, so we can have him sit. He kind of does a little bit of the Kenner because the way his legs are, how big his legs are here. Um, and the reason why I say that is, like the GI Joe, the legs would come straight out. Okay, with the Kenner, because they only had just a couple points of articulation, you brought the legs out and then they kind of V'd out. So that's kind of what he's doing here. So if I sit him down here, I know the camera's up a little higher, that's why I'm kind of holding it. I can straighten the legs out. Let me get that out of here. So his legs kind of V out a little bit more. He's a bigger guy, nice and chunky in that way. Um, so if you're trying to put him, I don't have any vehicles, but I'm just trying to point this out that if we had a vehicle and you only had a little bit of space, he's going to be a little harder to fit in there. Um, I've been trying to look to see what kind of vehicles they have. There are some out there. I don't have any of them. So we do have a little bit of articulation to go back and forth. I feel like I'm doing something here. I hear clicking. So I heard a click there. Yeah. So, okay. Let's get to his hands. Of course, we have, we can swivel the hand. We can kind of go a little bit. He's got a joint here. We can bring the hand around, but his armor is really limiting him as to what he can and can't do. So, and of course, then we have his elbow here, and we have a swivel joint. Now let's see, what do we have here? Now we can raise this up, and his shoulder pads are limiting him. He can't go too high up, but does he have? He does have that second ball of articulation here, and it's hard to see. But we have this right here, so we have this joint right here, and then there's a second one inside there. So that gives him a little bit, but his armor really restricts how much he can and can't move. I think if you had that armor off, you would do a little bit more, but then you're really kind of defacing the figure, so I don't see anyone ever wanting to do that. Nice coloring. I know that they had kind of gone to doing the dark gray for them as bounty hunters. His head does shift around so you can kind of crack his neck. I think they did show him doing that in those shows, so that is really neat that they have that available, that you can kind of crank them over like, oh, got to crack my neck and sore or whatever from lifting a gonk droid or whatever. Now the back here, this is a little different. Most of them have like a single hole for the peg to go on for the backpack. His is got a completely different shape. So there's a reason for that. I don't know what the full reason outside of. It's just his backpack. Okay, there's a print on here, and I've with the glare of the light, I just can't see what it is. All right, so it is kind of like, take this a little closer. So hopefully you guys can see this, if I can get this right in front of the camera. It's almost like an outline of a skull in a way, but it's got some extra lines on it, so that's something I might have to look at a little bit closer a little later on. But it is nice that they have print here. We have the nice 99 with the skull here. Seemed like it was a good theme for them. And of course, let's get his helmet on. And of course, we could probably just put it like that if you wanted. But we want to see how well it fits. Oh, come on, you lug. There. All right. So I squeezed the helmet to kind of widen it out a little bit. I was kind of catching on his ears just a tad. Okay. So here's his helmet on. He looks kind of nice. And then we have his knife. And that's going to sit right there. That sits in there nice and tight. So I don't think you're going to have a problem with that falling out. Now his weapon here. With the Black Series and with like the G.I. Joe Classified, they have magazines and other things that kind of slide in and that's why I'm kind of pulling on this to see. This almost looks like that cowling might pull out or something. I don't remember it ever doing that on the show, but I'm just kind of looking. This is, we have the magazine on the side that doesn't come out, and it looks like that's going to be a flashlight there. I'm going to say that this would be like our world's equivalent of, I'd say like a submachine gun or something like that. Like in World War II, where you had officers or certain people that were actually carrying like the old Thompson machine guns, something like that. I'm trying to remember what it was like. I think he could fire a fully auto in the show, so I think that would really kind of fit. He's going to have I think, because he's not a sniper, he's not a precision shooter. He's going to lay down suppressing fire. So if he could pick up a big heavy weapon, that would be great. But having a submachine gun or something like that, blaster, would be wonderful for him as a side. He would be really good with like a big gun. Like if you had like a big minigun or so, he would work very well for that. But otherwise, a very nice. He is chunky. I don't have other figures just quite on hand, but if I had some other ones, let me see here. All right, so let's get him next to Echo here. So you look how thin and that Echo is in comparison. They do have him nice and chunky, and he sits taller, almost a whole head taller than Echo does. So if I can get him to stand here, I'll try one at a time. Very good. Okay. And good. All right. Now let's bring this down. And of course, I'm doing this because I want you guys to see the difference here, without you seeing the messy basement with my bunnies right behind. So there is quite a bit of difference here in the height, and like I said, in the width of the figure themselves. He is big and chunky, like he should be. That's the way he was kind of drawn out, and very nicely done. I think it's a great collection. We're gonna get the rest of these all done up at some point, but until then, and I gotta find more shelf room. So we gotta get some nice shelf room. I know once my bunnies are gone, which I'm not trying to rush any of that, and I hope they don't hear me so they don't get upset when I feed them next. I'm going to get some more shelves in there, but that could be a ways away, and I've got a couple of good years with some lovable bunnies down here, so I think I'll be lost without them. But still, looking at these guys are just nice and nicely done. I think they did a good job. The weapon's not real rubbery here either. That's a nice solid weapon. I know that was getting to be an issue And I heard that with a lot of the GI Joe series and that where weapons were kind of rubbery. This is not a very rubbery weapon. Everything feels good. This armor piece is, I'll say it's a little rubbery, but it has to be. It really does, because we're banging up against it. This has got enough rigidity to it, but it is a little rubbery. But it's an armor piece going over it, so if you're bumping into it, it's not a solid piece. I think that'll give it a little bit of durability over time. Seeing that we're playing with it, and if you have people that are, I think what I need to do is I need to do like a little animation with these guys or whatever for a different outgoing GIF video for but to have this where it kind of moves a little bit and has a little forgiveness would be good. Oops, and then there goes Echo. So, all right. But yeah, wonderful. Very nicely done. So, with that, we'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.